I've got the best bad idea financially that you've got to consider right now. Hear me out on this, okay? Should you take the equity that you have in your house and invest it in the stock market? Hear me out. I'm going to talk both sides of it and let you know what you should do coming up. Hi, my name is Mike Bernard. I am the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Corhorn Financial Group. Welcome to this channel. If you are new, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. This is a question, I know you've been thinking about this. As soon as we saw record low interest rates hit, I've been thinking about this, and I'm not kidding. I've been thinking about it for my clients. I've been thinking about it for myself, and I know you should be thinking about this too. Hear me out. Don't cancel culture me. Should you take the equity that you have in your house and invest it in the stock market? There are some obvious reasons why you shouldn't, but then there's the math. Here's the deal. If you don't have a mortgage because you're retired or you've aggressively paid it down, or you've been paying down on your mortgage and that maybe the value of your house has been stable or it's been going up and you've got a decent amount of equity, right now you can refinance that mortgage, or you could take out a mortgage and get a 15-year interest rate at 2.25%. 2.25% a year. That money, to get it out of your house, to borrow money against your house, is going to only cost you 2.25% a year. If you invest those dollars over that 15-year period in a diversified mix of investments, statistically, there is nearly zero chance, even if it's just diversified, there's almost no chance of you not earning at least 2.25%. In fact, on average, a diversified mix of investments should provide you 10% rate of return per year. Mathematically, this is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, and I'm not kidding. I'm gonna give you the answer, my recommendation here in just a second. But mathematically, you cannot argue with that. This is called arbitrage, or leverage even. Leverage is probably the more common term, but I'm gonna borrow money at 2.25%, and I'm gonna invest it that over time, I should be getting 8% conservatively, 6% per year conservatively, 10% per year realistically. That's what you should expect. Why wouldn't you do it? Why not? Well, there's a couple reasons. And the first is the monthly obligation. And I'm serious, you do need to consider this. But if I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, which you know I already am, the first reason you wouldn't do this is because of monthly obligation. We obviously saw our unemployment rate go from the lowest it's been in forever, right, at the beginning of the year, to nearly 20% unemployment within just a couple of months. So if you find yourself underemployed, unemployed, or receiving a pay cut, and it doesn't matter, the bank says, sorry, you owe me $3,000 every month, or you owe me $2,000 every month. If you have an adjustment to your income, your mortgage is a fixed obligation. There's no adjustment to your mortgage. You've got to continue to pay that mortgage each and every month. And so you're less flexible by having this debt. Yep, that is a trade-off. That's one reason you shouldn't do it. The second reason you shouldn't do it is if you don't have a lot of equity in your house, when it comes time to move, either because you want to or because you need to, it becomes problematic. So let's say to get a good interest rate without lots of costs and extra costs, PMI, you know what I'm talking about. Your loan is 80% of the value of your house. So you only have 20% equity in there. Well, if you go to sell your house, the cost to sell using a realtor, maybe some upkeep, maybe some repairs, whatever, I usually tell people it should be less than 10%, maybe 8, 9%. But let's just say it costs 10% to sell your house, and you only have 20% equity to begin with. Now you only have 10% to put down on the next house, which putting 10% down on that next house means you're now going to be facing PMI and a bad interest rate and so on. So when you go to move, this is having little equity because you've taken all the equity out that you can reasonably do and invest it in the stock market. It leaves you not really flexible to make a move. Now, if you're thinking through this, you could think, well, I can always pull the money back out of investments and I can pay my mortgage off, or I can take that money back out and put it as a down payment. And that gets to the third reason why I would say, yeah, maybe you shouldn't do this, is this is not necessarily a tax advantage strategy. So if you take this cash out of your house, the equity in your house, and you invest it, you're not investing it in a tax shelter, which is where I always love to do my investing first. Because anytime I want to buy or sell something, there's no tax consequences of this. But if you just simply take the money out of your house, the equity out of your house, you invest it and it appreciates or it's earning interest, all of that becomes taxable on your return. So the idea of, well, at any time I can just sell these investments and put it back down on my mortgage, you might be doing so and have to pay a big capital gain on there. So you got to be mindful of that. The fourth and final reason, and this one is, guys, the main reason why I would discourage many people from doing this, is it really goes against common guiding principles of how you manage your financial life. Borrowers, debt is leverage, and so you can do more when you have it. However, the borrower is obligated to the lender. And that lack of flexibility overall is something that many people, as they're striving towards financial freedom, try to overcome. In order to achieve financial freedom, financial peace, you're really not beholden to anyone, really, in your financial life. So it violates a guiding principle. But the reason you've got to consider it is, with money this cheap, and the likelihood that investments, although cyclical, could just continue to earn average returns in the future, you've got to look at this and consider. Go back to the 1980s. And you look at what interest rates were at that time, and any of us would have said, oh my goodness, if I ever saw 12% interest rates, all I would do is invest in bonds and just get 12% rate of return for 30 years or whatever it was, obviously. And I think it's possible we'll look back on this time with interest rates at record lows and say, why would you have ever paid off debt? Just pay the least amount possible on your debt, have as much debt as possible, and invest the difference. Because when it comes to your overall net worth statement, you can have assets in cash, which is earning nothing in the bank. You can have it in your house, which, depending on where you live, might be appreciating a little bit. Here in the Midwest, they appreciate maybe 2%, 1 to 2% a year. You could have it in real property, which is vehicles and boats and that sort of stuff, which go down in value over time. Or you can have it invested, where of course your long-term return will depend on how you have it invested, but a diversified mix, like I said, I don't think there's ever been a time when over 15 years a diversified mix of investments has had a negative return. And so you're almost assured that over 15 years, a diversified mix will outperform 2.25%. So taking the cash, the money out of so basically taking that asset of equity where it's only earning, call it 1-2% a year, and moving it into a category, investing it, putting it into a category where you have pretty good odds of earning 8-10% a year, mathematically that just makes sense. So now, I bring it all together after talking about both sides of the fence here. Should you do it? Should you do it? And honestly, you've got to talk to your certified financial planner. I think for some of you, now don't cancel culture me, but I think for some of you, you might want to consider it. Or a different way of considering it is, if you've been really, really focused on paying off debt and you're paying extra on your mortgage, you got to talk to your certified financial planner and consider stopping that and having all extra dollars that would be going on your mortgage go into some investments. Better yet, if you're not maximizing your tax shelters, your 401k, your Roth IRA, I would have as little money as possible going on your mortgage and having that money go into those accounts over the long term. But should you just go and take a mortgage out against your house and invest those dollars? It is quite controversial. You've got to talk to your certified financial planner. My guess is for the majority of you, you should follow guiding principles in your financial life and achieve financial freedom without trying to over-lever and without taking that risk that this sort of strategy would require. For some of you, though, it may make sense. Talk to your certified financial planner. See if this is absolutely nuts in your situation, what the trade-offs are, or if it is something that should be considered to either a large degree or small degree. You have to. And I'm assuming I'm gonna get lots of comments on this video saying this is crazy, this is crazy. I'm just talking math. I'm just talking math. If it costs you 2.25% to take that equity from your house and invest it into an area that should earn 6, 8, 10% a year, the math suggests that you should. And for those of you that actually still do itemize your taxes, and it's not even 2.25% real cost to you, you actually get to deduct that on your taxes, it makes it an even better deal. How do you know? Talk to your certified financial planner. If you don't have one, you can always contact one of the CFPs on our team right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Find us online, korhorn.com, that's Korhorn with a K, or you can find us online, wisemoneyshow.com as well. Or give us a call, 574-247-5898. Not for the faint of heart. This is not something I'd broad brush go out and do. The math just supports it. Talk to your certified financial planner who's a fiduciary, who knows your entire financial life as well as you do, all of your goals, all your objectives, and see, does this make sense to a big degree, to a little degree, or not at all. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.